I'm Hank. I am once again with Andrew, and we're talking about Legion on this little show I call CBMF for some reason.
For some reason.
For some reason. I'll get into it someday.
Okay.
It stands for stuff. Legion is from FX. It's
Fox.
What?
I think it's Fox, isn't it?
Showcase FX? Is that Fox? Is that Fox's adult line or something? I guess it is Fox because it's fucking
Do we care?
X-Men, and X-Men is Fox.
How much do we care, though?
I don't know. I guess we cared that much. I know that it's filmed here in town.
I didn't know that.
I know that. As soon as I heard that it was going to film in town, I think I sent a thing off to my agent, and I think I got a thing back where they were like, "Yeah, you know they're casting leads, right? Like, you're not somebody who needs to worry about that stuff."
You're good. You're fine.
Yeah. And then I did talk to an actor here. I was having this interaction where a guy came in and started asking me a bunch of questions about the character Legion, and he was very attractive. And at one point, I handed him a book, and as I handed him the book, his hand slightly touched mine, and the moment that happened,
You switched bodies?
I knew he was an actor because there's a certain comfortable physicality that actors have, and the moment that happened, I was like, "Oh, in about 2 seconds, you're going to tell me you're reading for Legion." And then in about 2 seconds, he was like, "Yeah, I've got an audition for this TV show, Legion." It's not the guy who got it.
Ah, damn. I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
Did he look good? Would he have been a good... What's his name? David?
It's weird. Like, we were sort of mentioning this before, off-air, where you were commenting on how they didn't do his hair, and, like, what the fuck does Legion look like? Like, this dude looks
without the hair.
Nothing like... But again, yeah, like, I don't... He doesn't... All he is a shock of black hair in the comic book. Like, there's no real physical traits to him other than that. Except for if he should look like Professor X's son, which, again, I don't know if he is in this.
Wouldn't it be cool if they tied it back to that?
I almost expect them to... But at the same time, I don't know. It's also kind of clear that they're not. Like, I don't expect to suddenly see Patrick Stewart show up in an episode and be like, "Hey, son!"
I hope he says it like that.
That's my Patrick Stewart.
Sounds like Gargamel from the Smurfs.
You also... Oh my god, why didn't Patrick Stewart play Gargamel in the Smurfs? We have to go back in time
It's a
and
missed
tell
opportunity.
someone. My familiarity with Legion is because of Age of Apocalypse. Legion caused the Age of Apocalypse. Do you know that?
I did not know that. I don't think I ever read that story.
Legion was like in a coma or something for a while, and then he sort of evolved out of it, where all of his split personalities were working in harmony, and he was basically like, "Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back in time, and I'm going to kill Magneto while he was still a young man so he could never fuck up my father's dream." And that's what he did, except right as he was about to stab Magneto, Xavier jumped in front of the psychic blade, so Legion killed his own father.
Whoa.
And that's what kicked off the Age of Apocalypse. Legion got sucked into a time loop where he never existed because he killed his own father.
Yeah.
And Xavier died. There was a huge spike of psionic activity, which woke Apocalypse up like 30 years earlier than he was going to, and that's why he managed to take over the world, and that's why Magneto formed the X-Men in the Age of Apocalypse.
Interesting.
So that's everything I know about Legion. Was those 2 or 3 issues where he's stumbling around in the past trying to kill Magneto.
Okay, because I knew very little about Legion. X-Men is sort of a soft spot on my comics knowledge, and I think probably I heard about him when they were pitching this show. And obviously the striking hair is what you look for first. And I've sort of shopped around. I'm looking for like more appearances, but he's not in a lot.
He really isn't. He's a very minor character. I think he's in a bunch of New Mutant stuff, but he's always like Madrox gets used more than Legion does.
I hope he gets a show.
Oh, I really... fucking Madrox is in there with, like, She-Hulk for what an obvious show.
I love She-Hulk.
Like, Madrox is a mutant who replicates himself who's a private eye. Like, that's fucking awesome. Done. Like, that's easier than Angel is to convert into a show.
Yeah.
He's a vampire, he's a private eye. There's so many things where all you have to do is, he's that.
And a private eye.
Yeah, and he solves crime. Like, we're done. That's
cool.
All it needs to be. Something I am very curious about with Legion... Or a theory I have.
Okay.
I'm guessing you haven't read Morrison's Doom Patrol.
No, I have not. I haven't, but I haven't read it yet.
I am almost suspicious that this is a super under the table, like, oh, okay, X-Men is just Doom Patrol. Like, Doom Patrol came first,
Yep.
and Marvel wanted to ape Doom Patrol, so they made the now in this really weird way. One of the characters, when Morrison took over Doom Patrol, he created the character Crazy Jane, who has multiple personalities. All of her personalities have different superpowers, and they're all sort of battling with one another the whole time, and they manifest in different ways. And, spoiler alert, at the end of the story, one of the things they really push, and this is almost like the start of Morrison really starting to work like a transhumanist narrative into a lot of his stuff, is like, normal for her isn't, oh, and now I have one personality. Normal for her is she figures out how to get all of her personalities working together.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, so it's this much more harmonious, but it's never... It never sells out the concept of what she is.
Yeah,
like,
it's
she stays
inclusive.
Crazy, essentially.
Yeah. She is what she is, and that's okay.
And I really wonder if that's what this is going to be.
Well, they're sort of playing... Although it's early, because we've had one episode. I felt like, out of simplicity's sake, they were just downgrading him to sort of paranoid schizophrenia, which is what they were saying in the first episode. But think about this for a sec. What if throughout the show these personalities sort of surface, like we saw, like what the yellow-eyed monster or whatever he was called?
Well...
Is that a thing from his books?
Well, no.
He was like Mojo.
Keep going. I want to, but we'll circle back to the yellow-eyed monster, because I got a thought about him.
I was going to say, essentially, that what if throughout the season, maybe more personalities and more abilities kind of show themselves?
Oh, I think 100%. I mean, I think part of the game, this is going to be sort of like watching Westworld and being who's a robot. Like,
okay.
I think every once in a while they're going to pull a little blanket out from under us, and it'll be of like, oh, that person never existed. Like, I honestly don't know if I think Aubrey Plaza is a real person in the show.
Ooh.
Like, that might just
now I'm trying
be
to think
one of his...
all the interactions she had.
Well, and, I mean, they have kind of the Fight Club out of, like, she does interact with a doctor at one point, but it's like, yeah, that's not necessarily real, or, you know, like he's filling in his own memories the way he wants to, so they sort of have an out on a whole bunch of things that they want.
I like that.